Hello Moto GP fans. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Pecco Bagnaia closed out a rain-affected second day of Sepang testing with calm confidence. While conditions limited Ducati's program, the double world champion focused on aerodynamics, race setups and maintaining a strong feeling with the GP26. Here are that explain what the day really meant. Yamaha's Sepang test has hit an unexpected snag. A sequence of technical problems and a crash has left both factory garages shuttered and the V4 project momentarily on pause. With Fabio Quartararo nursing a broken finger and engineers hunting a possible battery issue, the team chose safety over mileage, a pragmatic but painful decision in the middle of official testing. Marquez used day 2 of Sepang testing to dig into Ducati's aero program, despite a wet afternoon that limited running. He ran short, targeted stints and fed engineers a steady stream of practical feedback about balance, aero trade-offs and his own fitness. Below are that explain what he tested, what matters for 2026 homologation and how the reigning champion is approaching the preseason. At Sepang, Toprak has been wrestling with a surprisingly tricky mix of ergonomics and regulations. His height plus the seat unit he prefers pushes the bike above the permitted height when Yamaha's rear winglets are fitted. The result is a trade-off between lap time and braking confidence, and staying inside the rulebook. Below are that explain the problem, the on-track effect, the rule constraint, and how he plans to adapt. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Bagnaia set the initial reference time early in the day, but he was quick to put that lap into context. With rain threatening grip levels and track evolution, Pecco stressed that outright lap records were unlikely. Instead, the focus was understanding realistic performance margins in mixed conditions, an important reference for both testing and race weekends where weather can flip the script. It rained, so the grip might decrease a bit. In my opinion, someone will manage to equal the record or beat it by a small margin, but 1 foot 55 inches is difficult. The afternoon rain disrupted Ducati's test plan, cutting short several scheduled evaluations. But Bagnaia highlighted how even compromised days can offer hidden advantages. By saving tires and reorganizing the program, he and the team turned a frustrating situation into a chance to attack performance more aggressively the following morning. It was a shame not to be able to go out this afternoon, so tomorrow morning I'll definitely do 2 time attacks instead of just 1. Bagnaia explained the mental shift between long development runs and short performance stints. After days of focusing on feedback, balance and consistency, those brief, all-out laps allow a rider to reset and reconnect with pure speed. For Pecco, those moments are not just useful for lap times, they're also a reminder of why testing matters. Those laps, you concentrate only on pure performance, which always makes a bit of a difference, so for us that's the most fun there is. Like Marquez, Bagnaia's main technical focus remains aerodynamics. With production deadlines approaching, Ducati needs clarity, not just speed. Pecco hinted that the direction is already visible, but confirmation is essential before committing to large-scale manufacturing. Small refinements could be the difference between a good package and a great one. The idea is pretty clear, but to confirm it, since we have to start production, it has to be very clear. Perhaps the most telling insight came from Bagnaia's mindset. Feeling comfortable on the bike, he sees no need to force progress or chase extremes. Instead, he's prioritizing flow, enjoyment and timing, with Thailand marked as the first Rio reference point of the season. It's the voice of a rider who knows when to push and when to let performance come naturally. When things are going well, I don't usually look for the impossible. For Pecco Bagnaia, Sepang wasn't about fireworks, it was about control. Solid pace, clear aerodynamic direction and a relaxed mindset suggest a rider rebuilding momentum the smart way. If these foundations carry through to Thailand, Ducati may have exactly the version of Bagnaia they've been waiting for in 2026. The first and most visible sign of the issue was simple: both Yamaha boxes stayed closed. That's almost unheard of during a test when every lap counts. The team's choice to stop running was a clear signal they found something they didn't want to risk ignoring, even if it meant losing valuable track time ahead of Thailand. Interestingly, neither of the Yamahas has gone out on track. The whispered explanation among paddock technicians points to an electrical problem, possibly battery-related. High ambient temperatures at Sepang can expose thermal or charging weaknesses that don't show up in cooler venues. If that's the case, the issue goes beyond a one-off sensor fault. It's a systemic reliability and safety risk that must be fixed before riders go back out. They think it's something with the batteries, a problem Fabio had yesterday on the last run, and that's why the engineers said, "No one here is going out until I check it." The human side compounds the technical problem. Fabio Quartararo's fast crash, now followed by a microfracture in a finger, forced him to fly back to Europe for checks. Losing your lead rider during the shakedown is damaging in two ways: immediate data loss and added pressure on the team to prove the bike safe without their most experienced test asset. For newcomers like Toprak Rezgatlioglu, every lap on a Moto GP bike is priceless. With the Yamaha program paused, a rookie's adaptation window narrows, and that may slow the whole team's V4 learning curve. Development isn't just about factory riders. It depends on a steady flow of different riders and conditions to validate choices. Yamaha's decision to stop testing came down to safety, not drama. The team explicitly avoided exposing riders to unknown risks, which is the right call medically and ethically. The trade-off is competitive. Lost miles mean less time to solve the V4's teething problems before the season opener. How Yamaha manages the fix and communicates it will define whether this pause becomes a minor hiccup or a season-long handicap. Yamaha's Sepang interruption is a reminder that development races run on components as much as on courage. The V4 project needs time, data, and rider confidence, three things the team temporarily lacks right now. If Yamaha turns this pause into a careful, technical course correction, they may come back stronger. If not, the early season could be a catch-up fight. Either way, the paddock will be watching how quickly and transparently Yamaha fixes the problem. Sepang's afternoon rain forced the team to protect a planned program, but Marquez made the most of what was possible. Rather than chase headline lap times, he concentrated on completing the technical checks the engineers wanted and preserving useful tire and aero runs for the dry windows. That measured approach shows why factory testing is rarely glamorous. It's about making methodical decisions under changing conditions so the team can head to the next session with a clear plan. Well, the afternoon rain slowed us down today. Yesterday I dedicated more time to myself, getting settled in. Today we focused entirely on the project, trying out different things, so we'll have to do them tomorrow morning. Marquez framed aero as the season's gating item. What you homologate early will shape the bike's behavior for every round. With engines essentially fixed, aero choices become the main lever to balance turning, stability, and top-end behavior across 22 tracks. That forces a conservative, evidence-based process. Evaluate trade-offs now, then pick the concept that delivers the best average over a full season rather than an isolated circuit gain. The important thing is aerodynamics, which is where homologation has to be achieved in the very first race. The day's technical theme was compromise. Marquez reminded the team that no single aero shape will simultaneously deliver the best turning feel and absolute straight-line stability. Choices will cost something elsewhere. That honesty simplifies decision-making. Set priorities for the championship profile and accept local compromises. The engineers need that clarity to stop chasing perfect and start selecting a direction that maximizes season-long points. There are several aerodynamic options, and it's impossible to have them all. On the human side, Marquez reported encouraging personal feedback. Even when the engine felt down on power for the day, he felt physically looser and comfortable with the bike. That's a crucial indicator. A rider who feels relaxed can explore limits and give clearer guidance on setup changes. His short 3-lap stints were designed to preserve the shoulder while still stressing the aero and tire behaviors the team needs to understand before Thailand. Today I felt looser, even though I had less power. Marc Marquez's Sepang day was a textbook example of controlled development. Accept the weather, prioritize aero choices that must be frozen early, acknowledge unavoidable trade-offs, and use measured, short runs to preserve the rider while gathering usable data. If Ducati converts those small, disciplined steps into consistent performance, the GP26 aero direction will be decided on engineering logic rather than guesswork. And that's exactly how a championship campaign should start. Toprak spent most of the shakedown and day one without rear wings because his usual low seat put the winglets outside the permitted envelope. At the end of Tuesday he reverted to an older, a bit higher, seat/tail, and the immediate response was encouraging. He felt the bike behave differently under braking and in transitions. That small experiment is the proof of concept Yamaha needs. If Toprak can find a comfortable middle ground between seat height and legality, the team could unlock more of the V4's performance for him. At the end of the day, we used the back tail. What Toprak discovered is classic aero/ergonomics trade-off. The rear wings generate downforce under deceleration that stabilizes the chassis and lets a rider brake later and with more confidence. For a rider coming from superbikes, where seat and body position are different, that sensation can be a revelation. In practical terms, better braking equals straighter, cleaner entries and less need to compromise mid-corner, which can shave tenths that matter hugely in qualifying and sprints. Normally I don't use it because I use a different seat. But I feel much better because the bike stopped much better and this is helping more. Moto GP's technical limits on bodywork and seat height are absolute. If the chosen seat position plus winglets pushes any point beyond the height limit, the bike is non-compliant. Toprak explains the constraint plainly. His preferred lowest seating position, helpful for aero and center of gravity, prevents the legal use of the wings. That leaves Yamaha with 3 options. A. Redesign a seat/tail that keeps him low but within the envelope. B. Accept a slightly higher seat for him so wings can be used. Or C. Tune the chassis/aero to recoup braking stability without the wings. Each path has performance and personal comfort trade-offs. With Moto GP, it's completely different, because now I use the maximum lowest seat, but not any lower because the fuel tank is there. But if I use this seat position, I cannot use the wings because of the rules. Toprak is realistic. Some fixes are mechanical, others must come from the rider. He's already trying the older, higher tail and feeling stronger on the brakes. But he knows long-term gains will require adjusting how he attacks corners, more corner speed, less hard stop and go. That's a significant shift for a rider used to Superbike's approach, and it's why he's been studying lines and techniques from established MotoGP riders at Sepang. If he can reshape his braking and corner flow habits, he could keep the wings and their benefits without sacrificing comfort. But that adaptation takes time and test mileage. But I need to change my style. On the brakes now, I'm not so bad. I am happy, getting stronger, but maybe I need to change the riding style. I need more corner speed. In Superbikes I was always stop/go. Toprak's issue is an elegant microcosm of MotoGP development. Tiny millimeters of seat height meet aerodynamic gains and a strict regulations fence. The short-term fix at Sepang, run the older tail, feel the braking improvement, see how much lap time it yields, is sensible. The mid/long-term answer will mix chassis/aero tweaks from Yamaha plus deliberate changes in Toprak's technique. If he can adapt his style without losing what made him Superbike fast, both he and Yamaha stand to gain. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!